Hi, I'm Mandy with Acrobatic Arts. In this video, we're going to talk about basic bridge technique. Dancers, if you can find yourself a spot on the mat and lay down. We're going to do our very first bridge progression. In this part, we're going to lay all the way down on the floor and bring our knees up and shoulder width or hip width apart, checking to make sure that the feet are parallel. That's really important. We want to make sure that the knees are in line with the feet so that everything will be tracking when we get into our bridge. Now we're going to press our hands down into the mat and push up into baby bridge. Just leave your hands here and push up into baby bridge, bringing the seat up as high as we possibly can. Good job. Working to keep those knees and feet in line as we do this skill. Good, and come back down. As they get better at this skill, we're going to bring those feet even closer in and see if we can grab onto our ankles and push our hips even higher to the sky. Good. We want the head in a nice neutral position, not looking one way or the other. And the spine should also be really straight. Watch that they're not twisting from one side to the other. And come on down, dancers. Good job. Once we've mastered the baby bridge and we understand that parallel position with their feet, we're ready to try bridges. We're going to bring our hands underneath our shoulders. Good. And we want those hands to also be shoulder width apart as we press our hips up to the ceiling. Good. And look down at the mat. Excellent. Now when we first start, we're probably going to be more centered in between our hands and our feet, and this is completely acceptable. In fact, this is a good place for them to start. But as we get better at our bridges, we're going to work to push those shoulders out as far as we can, and that's going to straighten the legs. Good. Come on back and lay down. Common problems that we see with both the baby bridge and the bridge are the legs being too wide apart or the feet being turned out. One of the things I like to do to help with that problem is use a yoga block between their feet and have them squeeze that with both the toes and the heels as they press up into their bridge. This is going to help keep their feet parallel and their knees tracking. So go back up into your bridge, Maddie. Good, and she's going to really squeeze that yoga block with her feet to keep everything in line. Now when it's time to come down from the bridge, we want to lift the head so the chin is up and then put the shoulders down first and roll through the back to come down softly. A really common error that we see in both the baby bridge and the bridge with older beginners is not enough flexibility in their shoulders. So we're going to look at Shelby and see what that might look like. You can see she has her feet really wide and turned out, and due to her lack of shoulder flexibility, her bridge is on an angle and there's a lot of pressure here in her lower back. That could cause her some lower back pain and she might complain about it in class. Come on down, Shelby. We're going to work on a little exercise that might help to get her in a better position and alleviate some of that pain. So put your feet up onto the block and hands right under your shoulders. Good. And you're going to press back up into your bridge and pushing more into her shoulders. This allows her to get into a much straighter position, and you can see that her lower back is no longer curved and that pain will be alleviated. So Piper's worked really hard on her bridge and center, and she's able to hold that bridge for at least 30 seconds. Now we're ready to try walking down the wall to bridge. This is in progression for bridge and recover. So she's going to have her arms placed forward. She has really beautiful posture to start. Before she begins, her hands are going to come up and over, and her head is going to look back as her hands come to the wall. Both hands are going to come to the wall at the same level and at the same time. Come on, back up. Good. So we're going to do that one more time. As she goes back, she's going to really think about reaching up through her spine so that each vertebrae is separated and she has a lot of room before she moves back into her bridge. So here she goes. She's going to go up and back, both hands together. Now she's going to take lots of steps as she walks all the way down to the wall, to the floor. Good. Curling one vertebrae at a time. And once she gets there, she's going to push her shoulders into the wall until they touch the wall. Notice that Piper's feet are still parallel and her knees are still tracking and in line. Piper's ready to come back up. She's going to put her hands on the wall, walk herself all the way back up, put her hands to a position where they're both at the same place, and then lift them both off the wall at the same time to recover to standing, checking that she has good posture and no arch in her back at the end of this exercise. So Piper's been working at the wall for some time now, and she's really mastered going down the wall and back up with very few steps. She's ready to try it in center. So we're going to show you the right way to spot this bridge in center. She's standing with good posture. Her feet could be a little bit closer together, right underneath her hips. And she's going to use that same technique as she pulls up and through and goes back. Now I'm going to have one hand up here on her shoulders, and the other hand is going to be down on her hips. As she presses forward, I'm going to use my lower hand to push her hips forward, and that's going to help her get into the right position to complete this skill. So I have one hand on her shoulders. As she goes up, I'm going to put my other hand on her hips, and she's going to go down into her bridge. Once she's down here, I'm going to help her by pushing her shoulders out and getting into that correct bridge position. Come on down, Piper. The next progression in this exercise is going to be our down to bridge and recover back up to standing. So Piper's going to stand back up. She's going to remember all of that really important technique that we've been working on with her feet right underneath her hips and her arms coming forward. She's going to be in that nice posture. And as she reaches up and back, I'm going to get my hands positioned in the same place with one on the shoulders and one on the hips. So she's going to go up and down into her bridge. I'm going to let her rock into her shoulders. Then she's going to push her hips forward, using her core to stand back up and recover with good posture.